All right. Um, Let me push this slide. Okay, so thank you very much for joining this live stream. My name is Trac. You can simply call me Coffee. Let's wait for more people to join. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much. Um, Thank you very much. I officially welcome you to this live stream. We're going to learn a lot about UKNMC. I know you are joining this live stream because you've got a question to ask, or basically you are listening to some of the answers I'll give to some of the questions people have asked on my channel. So it's not a mistake being here. You are going to learn a lot. So just share this live stream to your friends, to your WhatsApp groups, and anybody you think would benefit from this. So at the end of the day, some of the questions you asked about UKNMC would be answered. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for joining. Share. And then, so I've seen two people join, and let's wait for more people. And then we can dive into the whole show. So we are going to learn a lot about UKNMC today. There are so many questions people have asked. And for me, I think it's best to get to know the answers to some of these questions before you make an informed decision to pursue your next in the UK. Yeah, so the purpose of this live stream is to help you make an informed decision, to help you make a sound decision as to whether it's worth it pursuing your nursing career in the UK or you have to let it go. Okay, so let's wait for more people to join. So leave your your questions in the chat, and I will see them and then give answers to them. So for the meantime, let's see. Are you ready? I think I would want us to wait for a few more people so that we can start. Let's wait for a few more people so that we can start. Okay, so let me just start. I know more people will join and you'll benefit from whatever I think there. And moreover, this live stream will be uploaded on my channel. So yeah, you can. Anyway, my name is Trac. You can simply call me Kobe. I officially welcome you to this live stream. I'm very, very much appreciative for you taking some time off of this schedule to join this live stream. I know it may be taking here. We are going to learn let's say with regards to UKNMC. So the topic on board is I'm going to give answers to some common questions international nurses have asked with regards to becoming a nurse in the UK. So I've got some tons of questions on the paper here that I'm going to give answers to. And I'll also give you the chance to ask your questions in the chat. Okay, so if you are here, just start asking your questions in the comments. The chat. And I would see them and then answer them alongside whatever questions I have here. I believe that there are some of the questions I have on here which may not be what you'll be asking. So just make sure that you are leaving your questions in the chat. We are going to talk about some common questions about UKNMC. Okay, so if you are new on this channel, I would be very happy if you can hit the subscribe button right under this video to subscribe. We've got a few more subscribers to 2,000. I really appreciate you guys. You've been your support so far. I don't know where would have been if you guys haven't come in to support my channel. They just have been far, but you brought me to this point. I really appreciate you guys. Okay, and I'm willing to give you every information you need to make an informed decision to pursue your nursing career in the UK. All right, so the next thing I'm going to look at is. Let me put these disclaimers across. Be aware that whatever answers I'm going to give here are emanating from my knowledge and experience as a registered UK nurse, okay? And what this means is that I'll try as much as possible to be true to you. I'll try and give accurate answers to whatever questions you have, or whatever questions I've got here, so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to, decide your first to become the UK nurse in regard. Okay, so we are going to look at some questions. Just try and leave your questions in the chat. Okay, I'll read them and then you know how far it goes. So Let's start with the first question. Yeah, so the first question I've got is IELTS or OET, which is better English test for UKNMC. So this is one of the questions I've been receiving over and over again. And um, and then to choose between IELTS or OET depends on some factors. Apparently, I wrote IELTS, and most times I would say I usually recommend that people do write the IELTS. It's not because I think the IELTS is easy, or it's not because I think the OET is difficult, but I think that to be able to decide between these two, you should basically figure out some factors. The first one is to ask yourself, are there available test centers for the IELTS in your home country? And are there available test centers for the OET in your home country? So just look at this factor. If there's an OET center in your home country, then you stand the chance of registering OET in your country. But if there is none, what this means is that if you are still interested in writing the OET, then you have to travel to a different country to make sure that this test is written. But I think it's cost effective, and as a matter of fact, I wouldn't even advise you to move from the home country to a different country to write that IELTS or OET. So the first factor to consider is to make sure that just ask yourself, is your home country having available test centers for either of these exams? If yes, then you are good to go for whichever. I won't talk about which one is difficult or which one is very difficult. We all have different views of measuring our level of difficulty, so I won't talk about that. Another factor I think you have to consider is which of these tests has got readily available practice materials. So let's say you have a friend who has written IELTS, and you also want to write IELTS. The possibility that I can get some practice materials will be very easy and hard as compared to OET, because IELTS, I always say, is a generalized exam. It's written almost by it's written by every IELTS has got test centers in every country. As a matter of fact, it's easy for you to get practice materials across board than the OET. So look at which aspect or which of these exams has made practice materials really available. That's the second factor I would want you to consider. And also look at the cost involved in registering for either of these exams. So how much do you have to pay to register for the IELTS, and how much do you have to pay to register for the OET? This is a very important question you have to ask yourself. To pay your financial commitment or pay your financial status, you can register as such. So try and ask your questions, and I'll quickly look at them. Let's move on to the next question people have asked. So this person says, please, I would like to know if someone with BSc degree in nursing can work in the UK without CBT and IELTS. Please, I would like to know if someone with BSc degree in nursing can work in the UK without CBT and IELTS. So, what I would say is that, you see, the minimum qualification the UKNMC require of you is diploma. Okay, so whether you are a diploma holder or a degree holder, you have to go through the same process. You have to basically write the two test of competence, which is the CBT, which is usually written in the home country, and the OSCE, which is written in the UK. So you go through, as a degree nurse, you go through the same process as a diploma nurse. It is advisable to write your CBT and the IELTS to be able to register the UKNMC. Other than that, your registration won't be valid. Okay, so as a degree nurse, you still have to write your CBT and then the IELTS, and then come to the UK possibly to write your OSCE. So that's what I can say about that. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button. Also like this video so that if you will showcase it to as many people who need it. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Just make sure that you're asking your question. I know you are here because of questions to ask. I may not be able to answer, or probably I may not have all the questions some people have asked on here. So asking you to also add a word, because I'm kind of twisting the answers I give over here. So let's move on to the next question that someone asked. Is it advisable to apply for a senior carer job as a nurse or midwife? Is it advisable to apply for a senior carer job as a nurse or midwife? So what I'll say is that, I mean, it depends on your preferences and why you are coming to the UK. And I also think that most people are eager to apply for the senior carer job because they think that's the easiest way to come to the UK for now. But what I always say is that it's not about just coming to the UK to be a senior carer. It's about the job description. Are you happy with it? You know what you are coming to do as a senior carer. So probably if people contact me and it's like, okay, is it advisable I apply for a senior carer job? The question I ask is, have you researched about who a senior carer is? Do you know their job description? Do you know what they are supposed to do? I mean, so basically, if you know what this senior carer is, a senior carer does in the UK, then I think it will be a very strong yardstick for you to decide as to whether you are coming in for that group or not. So I think I can't give a concrete answer to say it's advisable, even though we know it's one of the easiest ways to come to the UK for now. But just look at the job description. And for others, I know, as a senior carer in the UK, you can apply to become a registered nurse. But it all depends on the employer you're working with, and that kind of environment. Will it be favorable for you to upgrade as fast as you want? So that's a major factor to consider. And the next question I got is it possible to register with the UKNMC using NARIC certificates? Is it possible to register with the UKNMC using NARIC certificates? Alright, so before I answer this question, if you are here, I see some people online try and ask your questions, except that I've got no question to ask. Ask your questions and then I'll quickly give answers to them. I will intermittently, I'll mix up your questions wherever I have here. And I strongly believe that by the end of the day, you'll be able to make an informed decision. So the next question you are looking at is it possible to register in the UKNMC using NARIC certificates? So let me talk a little bit about the UK NARIC. You see, it's one of the ways it's an acceptable way of proving your English language proficiency, especially if you are a degree holder, or at least if you're a degree holder, okay, you can apply for the UK NARIC certificate. And the purpose of this certificate is to basically, one, help you prove your English language proficiency. So once you have that certificate, you don't have to write IELTS or OET or whichever to show that you are completely proficient in the English language. Another thing about the UK NARIC certificate is that it helps you to apply for your visa. But the sad aspect is that the UKNMC do not consider the UK NARIC certificate as one of the ways for international students to prove their English language proficiency. And as a matter of fact, it's not affected. So for you to register the UKNMC with the hope of becoming a nurse in the UK, all you need to do is to write the IELTS or OET, especially if you are trained outside the UK, or if you are not considered to be coming from a country that is deemed to be an English-speaking country. So that is what I can say about the UK NARIC. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. I really appreciate. Thank you for asking your questions. Let's try and answer your questions. Like this video as well, so that YouTube will showcase it to as many people that who need it. And also make sure that you share this video to your friends, share it with your friends, your WhatsApp page, so that we get majority of people join. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on to look at the next question I've got on here. So someone said, I have passed my IELTS and CBT. How do I get a job in the UK? I have passed my IELTS and CBT. How do I get a job in the UK? So I've passed IELTS and CBT. Alright, so what I can say is that there are two ways of getting a job in the UK. One is to use an agency, and the second one is to apply or do what we call the direct application. Apparently, agencies are not actively recruiting from red list countries, which I believe most African countries are inclusive. So first of all, what I would say is that let's find out, is your country part of the red list countries? If that is the case, then no agency can actively recruit from them. So the only option you've got is to stick to the second one, which is doing direct application. So in the direct application, all you have to do is to go to an authentic UKNMC job site like trac.jobs or indeed.com or totaljobs.com. I mean, these are the three sites I can recommend to you at the moment, or maybe LinkedIn to search for jobs, because the agencies are not actively recruiting. Now, another thing is that you can do the direct application and you'll be shortlisted for an interview. Now, along the line, the hospital or the trust you have applied to would link you to an agency. That is acceptable, okay? But the agency won't come to you just as they used to do before and say, okay, we've got this hospital for you. So which one do you want? It doesn't happen that way any longer. So all you have to do is just do direct application to the hospital you want. Go to the job site I've mentioned to you. Do your direct application, and along the line, if the hospital wants to link you to an agency, you will do that. But for now, agencies are not actively recruiting. So that's what I can say for now. It may not be easy, getting a job as quickly as possible or as you want. So I've heard of people who said they've done about 80 applications. Some say they've done 100 applications, and it's like they've had no positive feedback. Sometimes you just have to find out the closing date. If the closing date is not clear, they will not reach back to you. Okay, so just keep an eye on the closing date. And also make sure that they are writing a very good supporting statement. So check the description box of this live video. I've left a link of a video I've made about how to write a very good supporting statement in there, and you'll be able to appear convincing to the lawyer. And also make sure that you are uploading training courses that are in relation to the job rules the employer has stated in the job description. Otherwise, it's like you'll be giving out information that's contradictory to what the employer is looking for. And it's like you're not being fit for the job. So let's look at that. So I've had a question. Let me just read it. So this is from Pates Eyamba. Can one write OET in UK? If yes, where can one go for the preparation and the registration class? Okay, so this is from Pates Eyamba. Patex, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Can I know where you are watching me from? Just leave in the comment section where you are watching me from. I just want to say thank you very much. So yeah, you can write OET in the UK. You can write OET in the UK. It's possible. But one thing I'll say is that for all those I know who are writing OET in the UK, did the preparation all by themselves. That is not to say we haven't got authentic registration centers in the UK. But what I can say is that I think it's a matter of googling. Yeah, that's what I can say. But for now, I don't know any agency or any institution that is preparing students for OET. Yeah, but all I can say is that there are some of them. Just Google and then get to know that. Just make sure OET is written in the UK. Yeah. So let's. Yeah. I don't know if Pates have answered your question. Can one write OET in the UK? If yes, where can one go for the preparation? Yeah, I think I'm going to look at. Okay, so let's continue with the question. So leave your questions in the comment box and I'll see them in the video. Yeah. I think there's an opportunity for you to ask your questions regarding UKNMC so that you're able to make an informed decision to either pursue this dream or let it go. I wish I had an opportunity like this where I'll get a chance to ask questions about UK when I started my process. But for some of us, we have to go through the hard way, and here we are. But we think it's time for us to make it easy for us. That is why we are here. And I'm also very much appreciative for you guys supporting me up to this point. Because of it, I'm always motivated to come alive or make new videos. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, just take the opportunity to hit the subscribe button and then become part of the family. I really appreciate you that much. So let's look at some stars on here. So keep asking your questions. Keep asking your questions. Keep asking your questions. Keep asking your questions. And keep asking your questions. Keep asking your questions. All right. So let's move on to the next question. Cool. The next question says, what IELTS practice materials can you recommend for new beginners? So I think this person is trying to say that, there are some people who have started their IELTS practice and it's like, okay, so what's IELTS practice material? So what is can you recommend for them? So I'm going to recommend 3 books. Those are the books I focused on. At the end of the day, I could fast ones. I'll first of all say that stick to the Cambridge. We've got Cambridge 1 to Cambridge 17. That's at the time of making this live stream. So what I would say is that just stick to the Cambridge. That's the first one. Because the Cambridge is the standardized IELTS. On the D-Day, you may be getting something similar to the Cambridge. So if you don't practice, if you don't practice after adaptation condition, then it's like you are not practicing at all. So that's the first book I recommend, or the first practice material I can recommend to you. And then I also recommend another practice materials, which is basically much more of the reading. That is the IELTS 101. It comes with long passages, okay, for the reading. And for me, I think that it helped me because it's like it made me prepare the extra mark. So when I go to the examination center, it's like the reading test was put right in front of me. I got to realize that the passages were quite short and I could still understand through as quickly as possible because I practiced the IELTS 101 on so many occasions. It's like, if I could work these knocked out passages in 60 minutes, then how much more these short passages are putting right in front of me. So I always say that for people to pass the reading test, you have to work extra mile. And the book to help you work extra mile is the IELTS 101. Okay. And the last book I can recommend is the actual IELTS. It also got the listening test and the reading test. Yeah, so the reading test comes in very long passages as well. And it also helps you to prepare in advance. Yeah. These are the 3 books I can recommend. And also stick to watching YouTube videos. There are some good YouTube, IELTS teachers on YouTube that you can always watch. So that's what I can say for you. Ask your questions in the comment box. Ask your questions. Okay. Ask your question. Yeah. Let's look at the next question that says, how do I book my CBT exams? How do I book my CBT exams? Well, with the CBT, what happens is you can't, or let me just let you understand the process. Now, once you start your registration with the UKNMC, or once you start your UKNMC registration, what happens here is that the UKNMC will want to make sure you are eligible to practice nursing in the UK. So they will liaise with your home country NMC to find out, if you are indeed a limited place of course. Now, once that is done and you are declared eligible to practice nursing in the UK, you are allowed to have an NMC portal where you upload the documents and other stuff. And from there, once your home country NMC has verified you have said yes to the UKNMC that you need a registered nurse in your home country, then the UKNMC at the point will send you an email or probably link you to a company as a person. It's much more. It's a company that is responsible for organizing the CBT. Okay. So once they link you to this company, the company will create an account for you, and UKNMC will send the details into your email. So that is what we come to refer to as a decision letter. Okay. So that email will contain a username and I think a password to be able to log on to the CBT platform so that you can register in your own country. So you can either register online or go to the test center and then register. So for me, I went to the test center and registered. So I've had people ask me about how they can pay with voucher. I don't have any much idea about it for now. So that's what I can say about how to book the CBT exams. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. I really appreciate it. Of course, I'm appreciate a number of people online. I believe that you are very content. If you are, just give me a thumbs up. Just give me a thumbs up. Just like this video. Yeah. Just give me a thumbs up. Just like this video. Ask your questions. And just like this video. Ask your questions. And then make sure you are subscribing to this channel if you have not subscribed yet. Okay. Let your questions keep coming. Alright, so the next question I'm going to answer is, do I need IELTS as a degree nurse to work in the Yes, you need IELTS as a degree nurse, especially if you are coming from a country that is not considered to be a major English speaking country. So you need IELTS to not you can either write IELTS or do it, whichever way, it's fine. And then the next question here is, I'm confused between NHS and nursing home. Which should I join? So I think this question was sent by a friend who said this. I think when he was applying for the UKNMC job, he did send some applications to the nursing home as well as the NHS. And like he got two offers, one from the nursing home and then one from an NHS hospital. It was like, it was quite confused as to whether he should go for the nursing home or the NHS. But for you to be able to choose between the nursing home and the NHS, what I would say is that it's a matter of considering, I think, 5 or 4 factors. Now, the first one is to look at where you are currently working. Are you working in the hospital or in the nursing care home? Most people coming from Africa usually work in the hospital. They don't have much of nursing homes in Africa. So, would you want to change the environment? If you want to change the environment, then that would be the case of working in the nursing home rather than in the hospital. So that's one factor to consider. Okay, there are people who might have not been working at the moment. It's like they are doing nursing home, so they would want to continue from there once they get the education. That is, it's an individual decision. You can apply for or you can go for the nursing home. Another consideration has to do with the financial stuff. I know most people are coming to the UK because they think they are not financially stable where they are. Okay, so if that is the case, then you have to look at choosing between these two. The NHS apparently, I would say, pay less per hour as compared to the nursing care home. So what I would say is that the nursing care home pays more than the NHS. So financial wise, you have to look at that as well. But don't just base your decision on just the finances or where you are currently working or whether you're teaching about the process. But what I can say is that um, it's about considering multiple factors and then apparently settling on one. Look at the finances. So for an NHS hospital, the average pay rate per hour may range from £12 to apparently, let's say, £16, depending on the hospital they are working for. Okay. And that of the nursing care home may range from, let's say, £15 to, let's say, some go as high as £90 per hour. So that means that the nursing care home pays more than the NHS. So it's up to you to decide. I mean, are you coming in for the finances? Then, I mean, the nursing care home will be the option for you. But remember that no matter how much you receive, and it's about, I always say that about how you manage the little you have. Okay. Now, another thing to consider has to do with the fact that what type of patients do you usually want to take care of, or do you fancy taking care of? Is it the old age? Is it much more of the adults, or pediatrics? So you just have to look at it, because if your age, or if you fancy taking care of, the old age, then the nursing care home will be a major fit for you. If you fancy taking care of pediatrics, then the hospital will be a major sector for you. Okay, so just look at the kind of patients, the type of patients you want to take care of, then choose as such. Okay, and if you fancy multiple, looking at different types of patients, with NHS, there are a lot of people who do come in there for healthcare. We've got the old age, we've got people with disabilities, we've got children. So it's a multiple environment, a multifactorial environment. So you can still look at that aspect as well. And then, I think I've got a question here. Let's see. Trac. All right. So let me just finish with this, and I'll answer your question quickly. All right. So another factor to consider for the NHS, choosing between NHS and then the nursing home, is for the fact that we are looking at career development. I spoke to a friend who happened to be in the nursing care office. Like, you see, most of the procedures we do are just standardized. It's almost the same every day. But with the NHS, like, you are coming across different and then probably complex situations each and every day. Now that gives you the opportunity to challenge yourself, that gives you the opportunity to learn new things each and every day. So if you want to probably move further, explore different sectors, get to know knowledge about the various aspects of the nursing more and more, then the NHS will be the best fit for you. But if you are more comfortable with, medication administration, the normal procedures and job descriptions, then the nursing care home will be the best fit for you. I know people who have been in nursing care homes, like, they have not, they feel they are not challenging themselves that much. They feel that it's almost the same thing every day, giving medication, helping residents, with activities of daily living and all those stuff. But with the NHS, you get a chance to meet new conditions, new procedures, new people almost every day. So look at career development. And trainings are organized in the nursing care home as well as the NHS. But the training is based on the procedures that happen in these sectors. So let's say in the NHS, there's a procedure like, let's talk about, let me just look at what they call the simple procedures that is usually performed. Let's say taking an ECG, if this procedure is done in the NHS and it's not done in the nursing care, what I mean is that training, somebody in the NHS will have training on taking ECG. And because it's not done in the nursing care home, such training will not be organized for a nurse who is working in the nursing care home. These are how the little bits they have to just find out or discover to be able to figure out which area they have to go. And another thing I also say is that you have to look at the EV switch. And what I want to say about this is, okay, so there are people who may want to start the nursing care home and later move to the NHS. There are some people who are in the NHS and want to move to the nursing care home. So the question is, which one is much easier to switch? I mean, whichever way is good, but let's look at the environment. I know a nurse who probably moved to the I mean, who was working in the nursing care home, moved to the NHS hospital. It's like, I mean, the environment was quite different. It's like he found what he was not happy with in the environment because it was like things were totally different. And I know someone who moved from a NHS hospital to the nursing care home. It's like, I think the only issue he had was much more just familiarizing himself with the environment. So it's because, you know, things, I mean, much procedures are not done in the nursing care home. So if a nurse in the nursing care home goes to the NHS, like there are a whole lot of staff that are set in front of it, and it becomes much more stressful. I mean, it seems much more stressed, and it's like, I mean, it doesn't fit in the situation. So let's look at all these factors as well. And another factor to consider may also be another. Before that, let me just answer the question for Taraka. So Taraka said, I'm currently in UK, following nursing studies top-up degree 1 year. After completion of the program, can I apply for NMC registration without IELTS? Taraka, where are you from? If I can know where you are from, then I think that would be a very good thing for me to answer your question. I'm currently in the UK following nursing studies top-up degree. After completion of the program, can I apply for NMC registration with the IELTS? So probably what happens here is that I don't think you need IELTS to be able to register with UKNMC because you attended your you've done your training in the UK. So I mean, I don't think you need IELTS to write to be able to register the UKNMC. Yeah, that's what I can see for now. That's what I can see for now. Yeah, I don't think you need IELTS to be able to register the UKNMC. No. But I'm sure you have to write. I mean, you have to do your OSCE and your OSCE something. Yeah. And this is coming from Charles Topin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. He said, hello, Charles. Where are you watching me from? Just let me know. Just let me know where you're watching me from. And then this is from Esther in Ghana. Thank you, Esther, for watching. I really appreciate you guys. For joining this live stream. Esther has asked a question. Let me see. Esther says, hi, I'm in Ghana. I'm doing my rotation. Please, can I claim myself before I finish the rotation? So, can I claim myself? So, Esther, the question I've asked is, I know you are doing your rotation. After the time I was doing my rotation, I think I had my PIN, which means that I was considered a registered nurse. So the question I'm asking is, do you have your PIN? If you have your PIN, then you are considered a registered nurse. You have your name in the books of the Ghana NMC. Now, what this means is that you can start your clearance. Okay, you can start your clearance. But if you don't have a PIN at the moment, I don't think UKNMC has your name under the column of registered nurses, which means that, once you start a clearance, it's very difficult for the Ghana NMC to identify you as a registered nurse because you don't have a PIN. Okay, so just let me know, have you got a PIN? If you have a PIN, then yes, you can start your clearance. Okay. Alright, so thank you very much for joining. Just hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. And then subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel. I keep asking your questions. Okay, so let's see. Esther said, as at now, I don't have to finish the. I don't get it. Esther, what do you mean? As at now, I don't you have to finish the. Okay, I think what she's trying to mean is that she has to finish the national service test. I mean the rotation test before she can get. Okay, okay, that's fine. Then I think once you get your pin, you can start with your MOH clearance. Yeah, because for now your name is not in the books of the Ghana NMC. You're not considered a registered nurse. That you can't work independently. Yeah, that's what I can say for now. And then let's look at some other questions people have asked so far. So someone said, please, can I use UKVR for both NHS job as a staff nurse and a senior carer job? Can I use UKVR for both NHS job as a staff nurse? Yeah, so you can use it. So, I usually, when people ask me the type of IELTS to write, what I usually recommend is to write the UKVI IELTS academic. Why do I recommend this? Because, I see that to be using one stone to kill two birds, okay? Now the competition is very high on the NHS market, as well as the senior care market. So let's say you wrote your IELTS UKVI academic and then you couldn't attain the score the UKNMC is winner for. Now you can switch your attention to that of searching for job. I mean the senior carer job. Because for you to be able to work in an NHS hospital, we do register the UKNMC. And here in the case you haven't got a score that you came up for. So it means that you can switch your attention to the senior carer job. And for that one, you can probably take an IELTS score as low as 5. So I actually recommend that I write the IELTS UKVI so that another day, if it doesn't fit for an NHS job or the UKNMC registration, you can basically switch to the senior carer job. Keep asking your questions. Keep asking your questions. Keep asking your questions. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. I'm really happy to just share this with as many people as you can to help groups. Let's get more 4 chances like to let's say I like him. Let me just move my like that. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're liking, yeah. Make sure you're liking. So let's move on to the next question I've got on the list. So someone said, so do you write your OSCE immediately you get to the UK? Do you write your OSCE immediately you get to the UK? Not really. I mean, you have to prepare for some time before you write. You see, the OSCE is a practical version of the CBT you write in your home country. Okay, so once you get to the UK, it depends on the employer. Some employers will want to prepare you for a week. Some would want to prepare you for 2 weeks. Some would want to prepare you for 3 weeks. And by the end of the day, every employer will want you to write the OSCE too fast so that you get your NMC pay and you can probably become a registered nurse. So that's what I can say. You don't write your OSCE immediately you get to the UK. You have to be set under preparation. I've got another question. This from Esther. Alright, so I did NAC and I did my top up, which is degree. So do I have to buy the clearance form for MOH or just pay the 550 GH and take it to NMC when I'm done with my rotation? So let me just find out. Are you doing the rotation under the NAC or under your new registration, which is the degree? So that's what I want to know, and I'll be able to answer your question. Apparently, if it's the your new degree, then I don't think for degree nurses you don't have to go through the MOH process. All you have to do is to go to the NMC and then make payment, and the verification can be approved. So Just let me know. Are you doing your rotation under the NAP or under your new degree? Okay, that's a degree. Okay, so she said a degree. So what this means is that you don't have to go to the FOH process. All you have to do is to just get your 550 ready and then go to the NMC and the verification can be at that day. Yeah. I've got a few more questions to answer, and so this is a question someone asked, and the person said, please, what is the average tuition fee for BSc degree in nursing in the UK? All right, so I'm going to just elaborate a little bit on this. Once you come to the UK with a diploma, what happens is that at the end of the day, if you want to further out to do your degree or your master's. Now, I made a research about some affordable universities that you can do your proper as a diploma next. So, each one of them has got an average tuition fee you have to pay per year. So I'm going to list them here. I'm going to list them, and you get to know. They haven't got the same tuition fee. It varies from one university to the other. So I've got the Staffordshire University. So at the end of the year, you should be paying about £18,000. Okay, so if you are doing a degree for 2 years, it's double of the amount I've mentioned, and you should be prepared for that. But anyone who is a resident, probably in the UK, and then doing the nursing, is giving, I think at the end of the year, giving £5,000 by UK government. Yeah, that's what I've paid. So I think that can probably supplement a little bit of your fees. So before I continue, I think I've got another question. Let's see. So Esther said, I'm really grateful. All right, thank you very much, Esther. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Yeah. So the next university I've got on board is the University of Sunderland. The University of Sunderland. So when I researched about this, if you should join the University of Sunderland to do your degree as a nurse, you'll be paying something like probably if you're already in the UK, you pay something like £9,250. But if you're an international student, probably from outside the UK coming in, then your tuition fee will be like £12,500 per year. Yeah, so that is it for the University of Sunderland. And Coventry University, you are paying between £9,000 to £12,600. For University of West of Scotland, you are paying £10,600 per year. University of East London, you are paying from £13,080 to £15,720. And then University of Suffolk, you are paying £10,880 to £16,895. And the University of Bolton, you are paying like £12,450 per year. Then we've got other universities abroad. So averagely, you are paying something like £9,250 per year as tuition fee. Yeah, so that's what I can see for now. And then I've got 2 more questions to answer, and then this live stream comes to an end. So make sure I ask your question before this live stream ends. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do me a favor by hitting the subscribe button. Let's become part of the family. We've got a few more followers to get to 2K. I know you guys can do it. 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 Thank you very much. Alright, so let me just look at this question that has come in. Please, how can a Ghanaian midwife work in the UK? How can a Ghanaian midwife work in the UK? Oh, how can a Ghanaian midwife work in the UK? So, what I usually say is that, to work in the UK, there are two sides. Are you coming to work in the UK as a registered midwife, or the other way? But where the question comes in, let me address that before I talk about. So I've got Relevant from Shiraleon. Thank you very much. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it Loveit? I mean, thank you very much for joining this live stream. Have you got any question for me? Have you got any questions for me? Love, let me simply call it Love, okay? Just leave your question and I'll quickly answer. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. I really appreciate. I really appreciate. If it's the first time on my channel, please subscribe and become part of the family. This is a learning channel. Alright, so I was talking about someone who asked about midwifery opportunities in the UK. So what I want to say is that, let me just go and look at that question again. Yeah, so as I was saying, become the registered midwife and then becoming a senior carer or a healthcare assistant as a midwife. You happen to be coming from outside the UK. So the point is, if you are talking about a registered midwife, then you have to go through two major processes. One is to register with the UKNMC. Then the second one is to search for jobs. Okay. So if you're a midwife from whichever country, if you're a registered midwife from whichever country, what I can say is that you can register with the UKNMC. But the other part, which is searching for job, becomes a little bit difficult. Because what I always say is that there's not so much of midwifery opportunities as compared to nursing opportunities in the UK. What I would say is that, talking of England, I've so far seen just one NHS trust advertise for midwifery jobs, and I think that was 3 or 4 months ago. But I've also heard that Ireland and Scotland has come with the opportunities. Okay, so I think you can still try for that. I can still try for that. But you can register with the UKNMC. But the fact that you register with the UKNMC, that means that you are getting a job. Okay, so it's registering with the UKNMC and applying for jobs. And where it gets more difficult is getting a job. I know many people, nurses who are registered with the UKNMC, like they are still struggling to get jobs. Okay, so as a big one, you can get a job in the UK. And the first part is to register with the UKNMC. Now, afterwards, you just have to look out for the little opportunities out there, which I think is much more competitive. Because, I know some midwives who have 2 years experience, others have a year experience. It's like they are competing with other midwives who have got 20 years experience, 15 years experience. So it's much more, somehow difficult. So you just have to step up your game. Yeah. I've got another question coming. Let's see. So, this is from Simon Ohenicha. Thank you very much for joining. Let me look at your question. Hello, sir. Without serving the Ghana NMC for a minimum of 5 years, are you expected to pay some amount for your clearance? Yes. So, if you were bonded, then you have to pay an amount of fee to basically cut off the years next for you to serve the country. But if you ain't bonded, you don't have to pay any amount of fee. So that's what I can say. Depends on. For me, I wasn't bonded, I know other colleagues who were wanted, and I know some who were wanted. They had to pay amount of money to. I mean, depending on the number of years for them to say, you have to pay a lot of money for that. Yeah, so that's what I can say. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Let's see if I've got some questions. So I'll be very happy if you can subscribe to this channel. Hit the subscribe button and then become part of the family. This is a learning channel, okay? Of course, you get your information you need to be able to make an informed decision as to whether you are pursuing your nursing degree or not. And then, I think someone asked a question about salary staff. Salary. I can't see that question though. But I'll just talk a little bit about salary staff. Let me see if I can add that to the keep on sharing this video, keep on sharing, you're liking that wall. Yeah. And make sure you're leaving your questions. Leave every question you've got. This is an interaction moment. Okay, so leave every question you've got. Leave every question you've got. So let's see. Simon said, okay, thanks. You're welcome, bro. Alright, so let's see. Any advice on the rotation nurse who just finished with the rotation with minimal work experience? Still might be since it's a whole new environment in the UK. So I just prefer to share my story with people, especially some of these questions I have. I would say that I started my UK nursing process when I was doing my national service. You know, I said that I remember when I was doing my rotation, I think somewhere in between I had received my pin, which qualified me to be a registered nurse. Okay, so I started my process right from my national service on my rotation moments. And because I knew the process was going to be a little longer, it's like after the time I finished my rotation, it's like it was almost a year, which meant that I was still working. I mean, my rotation movement was considered to be a year experience, was considered to be a working experience for me. So I would say that I had 1 year experience, not, I mean, as an active staff nurse on the ward, but in as much as I was working at the rotation, you know, I had my pin that time. So I started my process right from there, my IELTS process, my UKNMC registration process. And because I knew, I mean, it would take a little bit of time, I felt like, okay, by the time everything is settled, it's like a year has elapsed. So, I mean, you can start your process right from the rotation time, okay? So that by the time you finish, you know, you have a year experience. That counts, okay? So that's what I can say. I don't think you have to wait till you finish your rotation, be posted, and I mean, it's a too long a process. Just make sure that, I mean, you are starting the process right from your rotation movement. Maybe if it has to do with working on your IELTS, which is one of the requirements, you have to do that. Okay, I think that's the advice I can give for that. I've got a question from Law. She says, can I take IELTS before I start my registration with NMC? Now, that's a very important question. Can I start IELTS before I start my registration with NMC? I would say that is the best way to go. That is the best way to go. Okay, because yeah, you can create an online NMC account and gradually upload your documents. But once you do that, once you create an NMC online account, they will create an NMC portal for you, a dashboard, where you have to upload your documents one after the other. So some of the documents include your nursing qualification, either diploma or degree, your IELTS test results, your CBT, your police clearance, and other documents that will be stated in there. What happens is that, because you may not be having, you may be having quite a few of these requirements, like your nursing qualification readily available, you can do your police clearance and upload. But I still think that the best way is to wait, pass your IELTS before you start your registration, or before you create an online account with the UKNMC. So, what I can say is that the best is to write your IELTS before you start your registration in the NMC, because your registration only becomes valid if you have passed IELTS, or if you have met the requirements the UKNMC is looking for. Okay, yeah. Once I really appreciate your feedback, Mr. Seth. We'll join you there. All right, I hope to see you. I hope to see you. Yeah. All right, so the last question I'm going to answer is, what is the salary for a nurse in the UK? What is the salary for a nurse in the UK? You see, when I came to the UK, that was the first. Before I even started my journey to become a nurse in the UK, my major concern was the finances, because everybody wants to be financially stable. So I was looking at, okay, so how much am I going to be receiving at the end of the month? And then comparing that to the what I used to receive then, is it worth it? Because at the end of the day, if wherever I'm working, it's giving me much money than what I'll be receiving once in the UK, then I don't think it's necessary for me to change environment. So one of the factors I considered was the finances, my salary. But I got to realize that, it was worth it moving from my country to work as a nurse in the UK. The salary, I always say it's not fixed, because let's say you may take, for example, you may take £100 this month, but next month you may take something like £200, so it varies. It's not fixed like where I used to work before. But the average salary a nurse receives, now I say that it depends on the hospital you are working for, because the hourly pay rate varies, it's different. Some pay from £12 to £15, especially if you are working in an NHS hospital. If you are working in a nursing care home, you'll be taking like £15 to, let's say, £13 per hour. So if you see that it varies, it's not fixed. But let's focus on an NHS hospital. If I talk, let's look at the questions I'm gonna ask. Okay, so Lord said, okay, thank you so much. You are welcome. You are welcome. Alright, so let's move on to look at the last question for the day. And if there's no further question from you guys, we end the live stream. Okay, so as I was saying, if you are focused on the NHS hospital, what happens is that some hospitals are paying £12 per hour, others are paying £13 per hour, others are paying their nurses £14 per hour, others are paying £15 per hour. Okay, so let's say averagely the basic pay rate for most NHS hospitals is like £2,100. Let me say excluding tax, okay. But at the end of the day, there are some incentives that come up as to whether it depends on the kind of shift it got. That's why I still say that it's not fixed. So you can't say unless the AK is taking based on that. It varies. Okay. So it depends on the shift you are running. Somebody running more nights may earn more than somebody running day. Somebody doing early shifts may earn less than somebody doing long days. Okay, so I can't say, I mean, the AK test is earning this fixed amount of money. It depends on how you can work, your shift system, and the kind of, NHS also you are working for, and the rates they are paying you for. So that's what I can say. So that's why before you sign an offer, you should have an offer. Before you sign an offer, you should be curious enough to find out how much they'll be paying you. Okay, and probably decide if it's worth it or not. For all you know, you may have 2 or 3 offers. So it's up to you to compare, the rates they will be paying you, and you'll be able to choose right. So I've got another question coming from Lorena Castillo. Lorena, how are you chatting or watching me from? So here in England, okay, that's good. Lorena said about the alternative way of providing English proficiency. Do you think all the criteria that NMC are proposing should be in one candidate? As I done my OET, missing few score in reading and working over 1 year. So Lorena, are you working as a healthcare assistant or you are working as a senior carer, like which one? So the today is 25th. It got a few more days, 3 days more for the UKNMC to officially make permanent changes to the English language requirements. And I think 4 days ago they came up with some proposed changes. And then they said that they are not going to reduce the IELTS score as we all are yearning for. But what they're going to do is that they're going to change the criteria for combining the IELTS and then the OET test, score. Okay. So they will reduce the score you need to get before you can combine your results. And they also reduce, they also change the duration needed for you to combine your IELTS or OET results. So currently, if you want to combine 2 IELTS or OET test results, it should not be more than 6 months. But for now, they've extended it to 12 months. Okay. So if you want to combine 2 IELTS or OET test results, it should not exceed 12 months. So I don't really know the kind of job you are doing. But they also said that if you are a senior carer or you're a social care worker in the UK, and let's say you've written IELTS or OET, and you narrowly reach the score to be able to enter the UKNMC, you can use employer reference. You can go back to your employer and say you want an employer reference as supporting evidence that you can communicate effectively in English. And you would supplement that with the results you have, and you can register in the UKNMC. So that's how to find out the kind of job you are doing. That's whether you are in the social care setting, you are a health care assistant, you are a care practitioner. Yeah, so you are probably in the healthcare sector. So if you narrowly, I don't know the scores you had for the OET, but if you narrowly match that, then you can pay their proposals. You can seek for employer reference. You can go to your employer and then ask for an employer reference to be able to probably can supplement that with your OET, and you'll be able to register with the UKNMC. But the final verdict will come on the 28th. So let's wait and see what happens. Yeah. So any further questions? And I think I've spoken much. I've given answers to some of the questions that other people with regards to UKNMC. So the final thing I was going to say is that apparently, if you are scared of pursuing your nursing career in the UK because of IELTS or OET, Then what I can say is that I think that come 28, the UKNMC is going to finally pronounce the changes to the English language requirement, the OET, the IELTS for international lessons. Okay, so let's hope and see if whatever changes that come up is in line with the scores you're having. I know some people have already written out or OET and are patiently waiting as to whether the changes would favor them or not. So what I can say is that let's wait and see what happens. So Lorena, sorry, say thank you so much. You're welcome, Lorena. Let's hope for some kind of positive feedback from the UKNMC. And that's what we're waiting for. Yeah, come 28. So we are almost ending this live stream. If there's no further questions, so what I'll say is that if you have not subscribed to my channel, just make sure you are subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. Next week, UK. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. Thank you. I really appreciate you. I thank you very much for spending some time off with this schedule to probably get to know some answers. I believe that whatever answers, whatever I meant for me is going a long way to help you make a sound decision as to whether it's worth it pursuing your nursing career in the UK or not. I believe that there are some questions I may not see or I may not have answered. You can leave them in the comment section and then I will give answers to them. Hit the subscribe button and become part of the family. Let's live together. Let's live together. Let's live together. And share this live stream so that every family will. Thank you very much. And I hope to bring you the live updates with regards to the UKNMC's English language review on the 28th. So just keep hopes high. You get to know every bit of whatever happens. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think this is the moment to end the live stream. If there's no further question from you guys. If there's no further question from you guys, thank you very much. Thank you. So hope to see you in my next live stream. I think you're talking about something very, very beautiful. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining this live stream. There's no further question. If there's no further question, then there's no further question.